I stood in the grand ballroom of the Zurich Hilton, the air thick with the scent of polished mahogany and fresh coffee. As the projector beamed the opening slide onto the massive screen, my heart skipped, not from nerves, but from the gut-punch realization staring back at me. There, in crisp Helvetica font, was my sister's name, CEO Elena M. Hayes. No mention of me. No co-founder title. Nothing. I'd flown across the Atlantic to seal this $2 billion biotech deal. The pinnacle of 8 grueling years building Hayes Innovations from a garage startup in Seattle to a powerhouse. Elena had the charm, the investor-whispering charisma. I had the blueprints, the late-night algorithms that made our tech revolutionary. We were supposed to be unbreakable. But as she stepped onto the stage, flashing that million-dollar smile to the applauding crowd of suits and analysts, I felt the first crack in our foundation. My phone buzzed under the table as I texted her. Slide error? Call me after. No response. I sat there, composed on the outside. But inside, a storm brewed slow and deliberate. The presentation unfolded like clockwork. Our distribution models, IP timelines, market projections, all work I'd architected. Yet my name was scrubbed clean, like I'd been a ghost all along. The Swiss liaison I'd courted for months gave me a nod. Oblivious. I forced a smile, nodding along. But my mind raced back through the months leading up to this. Elena canceling our sync calls, insisting I handle the overseas legwork while she managed home base. Her sudden push for me to extend my stay in Zurich post-deal. To unwind. It hadn't felt right, but I'd chalked it up to stress. Now, in this echoing room, it clicked. This wasn't a glitch. It was erasure. As the applause swelled and Elena shook hands with the lead investor, I slipped out, heels clicking softly on the marble floor. Back in my suite, overlooking the twinkling Lake Zurich, I shed the power suit for sweats, poured a glass of sparkling water, and fired up my laptop. Time to dig. Logging into our company portal, username, JM Hayes. Password intact. I expected the familiar dashboard, metrics, legal drafts, roadmaps. Instead, access denied. Contact administrator. I refreshed. Tried again. Same red warning. My pulse quickened. Not in panic, but in that cold focus you get when betrayal sharpens your edges. I dialed IT back in Seattle. It was late there, but Brian, our night shift guy, picked up after 2 rings. MS. Hayes. I was instructed to route any access issues from you to legal. His voice wavered. By whom? I pressed. Voice steady as steel. From Elena's office. Memo came through yesterday. I leaned back against the headboard, the city lights blurring in my vision. Brian. Level with me. What's going on? Silence. Then a sigh. I'm sorry. Jordan. You've been good to the team. But orders are orders. I hung up. The room suddenly too quiet. Too vast. This wasn't just a slide deck snub. I was being locked out of my own creation. I didn't scream or shatter the glass in my hand. Instead, I started documenting. Screenshots of the denial page. Timestamps. Even the browser history. If Elena thought she could airbrush me out without a trace, she forgot who built the damn canvas. My phone lit up at 1:17 a.m. My lawyer, Alex, calling from the West Coast. Jordan, we need to talk. Elena held an emergency board meeting without you 2 days ago. My grip tightened. She what? Used a proxy signature. Claimed you'd delegated authority while abroad. I paced the room, the carpet muffling my steps. That's bullshit. We never agreed to that for board votes. Alex's voice was grave. It's shaky legally. but the board bought it. You've been ousted as COO. Access revoked. A pause. And check your joint accounts. I logged into the bank app. Heart thudding now. Balance, $7,892. Recent transactions. Transfers out. Wires to unfamiliar entities. All authorized by Elena. One stood out, a $4.2 million shift to Hayes Consulting Group, a shell I'd never heard of. She drained it, I whispered. Everything we built. The numbness hit first. Then the clarity. Anger didn't explode. It simmered. Precise. You can steal the keys, rewrite the narrative, but you can't erase the architect. I spent the next hours archiving emails, pulling old threads where Elena had casually asked for my sign-offs on routine docs. There, buried in a compliance update from months back, was the proxy clause she'd slipped in. Not blatant, but enough to exploit. By dawn, Zurich's fog rolling in, I'd pieced it together. This coup had roots, deep and deliberate. Elena hadn't just pivoted. She'd planned my exit while we shared strategy sessions, her smiles masking the knife. I texted Alex, file for audit. This ends now. No sleep came that night. The city awoke below me, indifferent, while I sat vigil over digital graves. As the sun crested the Alps, I refreshed the company's site on my phone. My bio, gone. The founder's page now featured Elena Solo, her photo gleaming, the copy touting her as the visionary force behind it all. Blog posts I'd written, reattributed or deleted. It was like I'd been photoshopped out of history. I messaged our PR head, Sarah, who authorized the site changes. Her reply was swift. Elena's directive. Said you were stepping back. I fired back. I didn't step anywhere. This is erasure. No response. The betrayal deepened. Not just Elena, but the team complicit in the silence. I dove into admin logs. My lingering backdoor access revealing the trail. Elena's assistant had used AI tools to rewrite content. Timestamps showing premeditation. I exported it all. Heart steady. Resolve hardening. This wasn't family drama anymore. It was fraud. My phone buzzed again, Lydia. My assistant of 5 years. An email. Jordan. I'm sorry. Elena offered equity if I helped transition files. I couldn't risk my job. The words stung, but not as much as the realization. Loyalty bought cheap. I forwarded it to Alex, adding to the dossier. By midday, I was on a call with him. We've got forgery on the proxy, embezzlement on the transfers. Board needs to see this. I nodded, though he couldn't see. And the family? He hesitated. Your uncle mentioned something similar happened years ago, with your dad's trust. Elena rerouted it. Cut him out. The pieces fell, a pattern. Not a one-off. Betrayal wasn't new. It was her playbook. I didn't confront Elena directly. Instead, I built my case in the shadows, mirroring her stealth. That evening, as Zurich streets filled with commuters, I drafted a memo to the board's independents. Attached, evidence of unauthorized changes. Fund misappropriation. This threatens our integrity. No accusations. Just facts. Silence followed. But I knew the seeds were planted. The weight of it all pressed in the isolation. The rewrite of my legacy, but it fueled me. Silence wasn't weakness. It was my weapon. As night fell, I stared at the lake, whispering to myself, you started this war. I'll end it. The next morning brought a gray Zurich sky, mirroring the haze in my mind. I hadn't touched the bed, opting instead for the sofa, where I'd mapped out every vulnerability Elena had exposed. Coffee went cold beside me as I sifted through cached archives, systems I designed, backdoors I'd forgotten until now. The team's Slack channels were alive with chatter, Elena's killing it solo, one said. Always thought she was the brains. My chest tightened, but I screen recorded it all. Every casual erasure. This wasn't just business, it was a psychological gutting, making me question if I'd ever truly belonged. I called my uncle, Marvin, back in Seattle. His voice was weary, laced with regret. Jordan, I should have warned you sooner. 15 years ago, with your dad's estate, she forged docs to edge me out of the trust. I let it slide for family peace. I leaned against the window, the cool glass grounding me. Why now? Because she's doing it again.
To you.
The conversation unearthed old wounds, Elena's early manipulations, skipping family meetings, centralizing control. I dismissed it as ambition. Now it screamed pattern. She's not just taking the company, Marvin said. She's rewriting us all. I hung up, the silence in the suite deafening. Betrayal whispers before it roars. By afternoon, Alex had more. Elena's pitching a quick sale to a rival firm, undervalued at $250 million. Our last eval was double that. She's torching it to cash out fast. Worse, traces led to a guy named Carter Hale, transfers disguised as consult fees, but really padding his pockets. Social media digs showed him arm in arm with Elena at events. Her advisor. Embezzlement with a personal twist. My blood ran cold, but my response was calculated. I rallied the founding chat, old-timers who'd seen the grind. See what she's doing to us, I messaged, attaching the sale docs and fund trails. Responses trickled in. I'm in. Let's fight. Not a mob, but enough to tip the scales. I didn't rush. Instead, I prepped for the board call Alex forced onto the calendar. As the video connected, faces popped up, hesitant, curious. Elena joined last, her expression a mask of composure. Jordan wasn't invited, she snapped. I smiled faintly. I built the invite system. The moderator allowed me 3 minutes. I shared my screen, footage from her media prep, her voice clear. Jordan's in Zurich. We'll push through without her fuss. She'll journal it away. Gasps echoed. Then the signature analysis, forged proxy glaring. This is fraud, I said evenly. Elena paled. Edited lies. But the board shifted. Motion for audit. She logged off abruptly, her eyes flashing defeat for a split second. Victory felt hollow, like echoes in an empty hall. No cheers. Just postponed votes and pending reviews. Back in the suite, I watched the city pulse.
Numb. My phone rang, Mom.
Jordan, this public mess? Keep family private. Her words cut deep, favoritism dripping. Did you call Elena? Silence. Thought not. I hung up, the sting fading into resolve. Some silences reveal more than screams. As press whispers grew, headlines like Sister Shadow Play and Tech Giant, I flew home to Seattle. The office loomed. My keycard still worked, but I didn't enter. Instead, I met Alex at his firm, signing off on separation, retain equity, observer status, but step back from ops. Smart move, he said. Rebuild clean. I drove to the family home. Porch light flickering. Mom opened the door. Dad in his chair. TV droning. I placed a framed photo on the mantle, the day we launched. Genuine smiles. I won't beg to be seen, I said. No response. I left. Ghosts lifting. In my new downtown loft. Minimal and mine. I unpacked. A quote in a frame. Applause fades. Your stage endures. Then, a letter under the door, Elena's script. Didn't mean this. Felt overshadowed. No sorry. Just excuses. I scanned it for evidence. Filed away. The courthouse loomed next. Charges read fraud, breach, misappropriation. Elena sat rigid, Carter beside her, wilting under scrutiny. Malcolm dismantled her defense. Trails, videos, letters. The gavel fell, restitution ordered. Her control stripped.
Outside.
Headlines buzzed. Betrayed founder reclaims voice. I walked to my new office. Sunlit and sparse. A message pinged, an offer to lead elsewhere. I let it sit, breathing in the quiet. Not triumph, but wholeness. Stories and not in cheers, but in next steps. Wait. That was the end? No. I realized as I settled in. The real rewrite begins now. Free from her shadow. Settling into the rhythm of my new life felt like emerging from a fog-shrouded battlefield. The loft's high ceilings echoed my footsteps as I sketched ideas for a solo venture, AI-driven biotech. But leaner. Mine alone. No partners. No shared glory to steal. The courthouse victory had restored my stake, funneled back embezzled funds. But the scars lingered, invisible threads pulling at old trusts. Elena's plea deal kept her out of jail. Probation. Restitution. Board ban. Carter faced charges separately, his consultancy unraveling into a web of shells. Publicly, she faded, headlines shifted to fallen tech star. But privately, the silence between us screamed. Weeks blurred in Seattle's drizzle. I avoided the old office, letting proxies handle my observer role. Instead, I rebuilt networks quietly, coffee with ex-colleagues who'd defected post-scandal, lunches with investors wary but intrigued by my comeback. You handled it with class, one said. No mudslinging. I nodded.
Sipping latte.
Mud sticks to the thrower. Inside.
Though.
Doubts gnawed. Was I too trusting? Too silent? Therapy sessions helped unpack it. Betrayal as trauma. Silence as survival. You responded. Not reacted, my therapist noted. It clicked, power and patience. One rainy afternoon, Marvin visited, bearing old family albums. Thought you should see these. Photos of Dad's garage tinkering. Elena and me as kids building forts. She was always the spotlight stealer, he mused. We pored over them, laughter mixing with ache. Why didn't you fight back then? I asked. He shrugged. Family.
But you.
You broke the cycle. His words warmed, a rare validation. As he left, he hugged me, first in years. Small men's in a fractured web. Press interest peaked with an interview request from TechCrunch. I declined at first, but Alex advised. Own the narrative. So I did. In a quiet cafe. Recorder rolling. It wasn't about revenge, I said. It was accountability. Silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. The piece went viral. The quiet warrior of Silicon Valley. Offers flooded, speaking gigs. Board seats. I cherry-picked, focusing on ethics in tech. Elena's shadow receded, but echoes remained. A random email from her old assistant, apologizing, a board update confirming her full exit. Family dinners resumed tentatively. Mom hosted. Dad quieter than ever. Elena wasn't invited, her choice. Or ours. Tension hummed as Mom served roast. We miss the old days, she sighed. I met her eyes. Old days had blind spots. No blow-up. Just truth. Dad squeezed my hand under the table, silent support. Healing crept in. Uneven but real. My new firm launched subtly, Hayes Edge. Solo funded from restitution. First hire, a sharpened turn. No ties. As prototypes hummed. Satisfaction bloomed, not flashy, but authentic. One night, scrolling news, I saw Elena's LinkedIn update, stepping away to reflect. No remorse, But admission. I didn't respond. Closure isn't always dialogue. Sometimes it's moving on.
Yet.
Questions lingered. Could I trust again? In boardrooms, I scanned for red flags, overly eager proxies, sudden exclusions, paranoia, or wisdom. A date with a fellow entrepreneur tested it. Laughter over wine. Shared ambitions. Heard your story, he said. Impressive resilience. I smiled. Learned the hard way. Vulnerability felt risky, but necessary. Marvin's revelation about the trust resurfaced in dreams, Elena's patterns haunting. I dug deeper. Hiring a PI for closure. Report, more shells. Minor scams predating our company. Not criminal enough for charges, but confirming she was wired for control. I filed it away. Fuel for caution. As Hayes' edge gained traction, a seed round closed seamlessly. I stood on my balcony. City lights twinkling. Wholeness wasn't erasure of pain. It was integration. Betrayal reshaped me. Sharper. Wiser. The phone buzzed, Mom. Proud of you. Simple words. Profound shift. I whispered back to the night. Next chapter. But in quiet moments, ethics nagged. Did my silence enable her? Or was it the spark that ignited justice? The answer eluded, leaving a poignant ache. Momentum built like a gathering storm over Puget Sound. Hayes' edge hummed with activity, prototypes iterating, a small team coalescing around my vision. No co-founders this time. Trust was earned, not assumed.
Yet.
Elena's ghost lingered in unexpected ways, a leaked memo from the old firm, hinting at her attempted comeback via proxies. Alex quashed it legally, but it stirred the pot. She's desperate, he said over coffee. Assets frozen. Reputation tanked. I nodded. Stirring cream. Desperation breeds mistakes. True enough, her next move, a whisper campaign. Anonymous tips to blogs painting me as the vindictive sister. Jealous of her spotlight. One read. I didn't counter publicly. Instead, I let facts speak through rising metrics at edge. Family dynamics shifted subtly. Thanksgiving loomed. Mom insisting on unity. Elena's coming, she announced. My stomach nodded. Boundaries matter, I replied. But I went. For Dad. The table was tense. Elena's across from me. Eyes averted. Small talk fizzled until Mom prodded. Girls? Bury the hatchet. Elena's voice cracked. I messed up. First admission. I met her gaze. Messed up? You forged. Stole. Erased. Silence fell heavy. Dad cleared his throat. Enough pain. No hugs. But a crack in the wall. Driving home. Emotions swirled. Forgiveness? Not yet. Understanding? Perhaps. Edge's first demo drew investors. My pitch flawless. Lessons from Zurich etched deep. Integrity first, I emphasized. Post-event. A familiar face. Lydia. My old assistant. Can we talk? Over drinks. Tears flowed. Elena threatened my job. I listened. Empathy tempered. Actions have costs. We parted neutrally. Bridges mended? Time would tell. A late-night call from Marvin. Found old letters from Dad. Scanned attachments revealed his wishes. Equal split. Warnings about Elena's ambition. He saw it coming. The revelation fueled a quiet resolve. Honor his legacy through edge. As winter rain pelted windows, I journaled. Silence once protected me. Now voice empowers. Elena's probation hearing approached. I attended. Observer only. She looked diminished. Pleading remorse. Judge's ruling. Extended oversight. Community service.
Outside.
She approached. Jordan. I held up a hand. Words aren't enough. Walked away. Heart pounding, not anger, but finality. Edge secured a partnership. Headlines positive, from betrayal to breakthrough. Personal life bloomed too, a second date. Genuine connection. Your story inspires, he said. Vulnerabilities shared. Trust tentative.
Yet.
Moral quandaries persisted. Was my comeback revenge disguised? Or pure justice? The line blurred in quiet nights, leaving an echoing question. In family wars, who truly wins? Spring brought renewal to Seattle, cherry blossoms lining streets, mirroring my internal thaw. Hayes Edge expanded, new hires. A sleek office overlooking the Sound. Team dynamics were deliberate, transparency mandates, no unchecked proxies. Lessons from the past armored me. Elena faded further. Her attempts at consulting gigs flopped amid scrutiny. A mutual acquaintance whispered, "She's broken." Pity stirred, but not action. Healing my wounds first. Family therapy beckoned, Mom's idea. Sessions unearthed layers, favoritism toward Elena. My overlooked achievements. You were the quiet one, Mom admitted. Tears flowed. Bridges rebuilt slowly. Dad's health declined, pulling us together. At his bedside, Elena and I shared a vigil. Sorry, she murmured. Truly. I nodded. Prove it. No fairy tale reconciliation, but a start. Edge's launch event buzzed, demos wowing crowds. Post-toast. An email, Elena's full confession to the board. Accepting blame. For closure. I forwarded to Alex. Archive it. Progress. Not perfection. Romantic sparks with my date evolved into steady dinners. Hikes. You're resilient, he said. Inspiring. Trust grew. Vulnerabilities exchanged.
Yet.
Shadows. A nightmare of Zurich slides. Waking sweat-soaked. Therapy continued. Betrayal reshapes. Doesn't define. A board invite from a rival firm. Ironic full circle. I accepted. Voice strong in ethics discussions. Headlines. Hayes rises again. As summer warmed, Dad passed peacefully. Funeral united us. Elena's eulogy honest. I failed family. Mine. He taught resilience. Post-service. We talked real.
Raw.
I envied your strength, she confessed. Pushed you out to claim it. Understanding dawned. Forgiveness tentative. Edge thrived. Valuations soaring. Personal milestone, a solo trip to Zurich. Reclaiming the city. Lake views no longer haunted, they empowered.
Yet.
The ethical echo. Does silence heal or hide? In redefinition. I found peace. But the question lingered. A whisper in the wind.